He has $400 billion. I'm telling you, he's not going to steal your money. Oh. I'm telling you, that's not what he's doing. What he's doing is he's a super genius that's been with, okay? And when you've been with by these nitwits that hide behind three-letter agencies, and you're dealing with one of the smartest people alive, and he helps Donald Trump get into office, and he goes, I want to find out what kind of corruption is really around. Well, you up. You up and picked the wrong psychopath on the spectrum, because he's gonna hunt you down. He's gonna find out what's going on, and that's good. That's good for everybody.
Where do we even begin? If you seriously believe that the world's richest man, a leech on the system who receives billions of taxpayer dollars in the form of government contracts to keep his businesses afloat while simultaneously enriching himself, is legitimately motivated to weed out government corruption, then you don't know what corruption actually looks like in practice. Look no further than this haunting image of our country's shadow president, Elon Musk, taking questions from reporters in the Oval Office, all under Trump's watchful eye. The only reason why Musk has amassed such an immoral amount of wealth is through the exploitation of the people's labor who generated his profits and undeserved handouts from the federal government. And he knows better than anyone that the most effective way to gain even more wealth and power is to siphon wealth away from the American taxpayer by crippling regulatory agencies and cutting social spending programs and diverting that revenue straight into his and his fellow oligarchs' pockets.
Why does Elon's financial disclosure remain secret?
Because nobody's looking at that. We're looking at all the corruption that's taking place.
And you best believe that Trump and his loyalists inside the government will actively help Elon ransack and eliminate federal agencies and programs that pose any threat to their ideological project of shifting power away from the federal government into the hands of a select group of ultra-wealthy psychopaths.
I saw a tweet from an Elon fanboy that was like, thank God now Elon can root out the oligarchs that are dismantling our government. So you think oligarchs are ruining our government, so you support the richest man alive taking over this country's purse strings? That's so stupid, I want to die.
Comedian, podcaster, and friend of the network, Trey Crowder, also sees through the thinly veiled excuses for the world's richest private citizen getting unchecked access and power over vital government functions.
The people on Twitter praising Elon, the richest man alive, who's the de facto head of our government right now, praising him for going after the oligarchs in the deep state billionaires that are ruining our government. It's just, my brain can't conceive of it. It's like, you don't know that the call is coming from inside the house. Like if I saw my cat go into the bedroom and then I started hearing ripping noises right after that, I would not say, oh, she must be fighting the nebulous feline that's been tearing my curtains up at night. Oh, God bless her. I'm not going to say that. You know why? Because I'm not rock-chewing stupid.
Now, you see why Republicans and some libs are so hell-bent on destroying whatever is left of our public education system. An uneducated populace is infinitely easier to manipulate and control. And when you combine that with the crushing force of working for pennies on the dollar and just scraping by to survive, people lose the free time, willpower, and intellectual curiosity to challenge their beliefs and the information they've been fed since childhood. It's a devious cycle that, as of now, appears to only be getting worse.
Lex Luthor thinks he's the good guy and Superman is not. And like you can in any villain in any story, like they believe that they are correct. They're just misunderstood. You know what I mean? Like I don't think Sam Altman or even Elon Musk for that matter wakes up and goes, I'm so evil. I'm going to do some evil shit today. Like for some up reason, I don't know what it is that they have to tell themselves in the mirror every day to justify what they're doing, but like they do it and they really do believe in that they're doing.
Trey Crowder's well-read podcast co-host and fellow comedian Corey Ryan Forrester spelled it out brilliantly here. The tech oligarchs cozying up to Trump, whether they admit it or not, believe that they're in the right And everything they're doing is justifiable, largely because their egos are so inflated and their personal insecurities run so deep that they only get satisfaction and fulfillment from gaining power and control over regular people.
Now MAGA's been in charge for 2 weeks, and they're like, we're doing whatever we want. Everything's going to burn, baby. And the Democrats are just like, you know what? Make that letter we were working on even more strongly worded.
And this attitude is why we've seen such a weak and cowardly response from the Dems. The party establishment is beholden to serving the interests of the same ruling class of ultra-wealthy oligarchs.
I do not often find myself in the habit of thanking Elon Musk, but I must confess that he has done an exceptional job of demonstrating a point that a few of us have been making for years, and that is the reality that we live in an oligarchic society in which billionaires dominate not only our politics and the information we consume from media, but our government and economic lives as well. That has never been clearer than it is today. What do he and other multi-billionaires really want? What is their end game? In my opinion, what Musk and those around them are aggressively striving for is not novel, it is not complicated, and it is not new. It is what ruling classes throughout history have always wanted and have always believed is theirs by right. More power, more control, and more wealth. And they don't want ordinary people, that's you, and democracy getting in their way. They want it all. Elon Musk and his fellow oligarchs believe government and laws are simply an impediment to their interests and what they are entitled to.
This is the type of messaging Dems should be hammering away at and shouting from the rooftops, but the party establishment would never dare cut ties with their billionaire sugar daddies and adopt a truly progressive populist policy platform.
These modern-day oligarchs are our kings. And it is not just power, it's incredible wealth that they have. Today, Mr. Musk is worth $402 billion. Zuckerberg is worth $252 billion. Bezos is worth $249 billion. With combined wealth of over $900 billion, these three people own more wealth than the bottom half of American society. Not surprisingly, since Trump was elected, their wealth has soared. Musk has become $138 billion richer. Zuckerberg has become $49 billion richer. And Bezos has become $28 billion richer, all since Election Day. Meanwhile, while the very rich become much richer, 60% of Americans live paycheck to paychecks. 85 million are uninsured or underinsured. 25% of seniors are trying to survive on $15,000 a year or less. 800,000 are homeless, and we have the highest rate of childhood poverty of almost any major country on earth. Do you think for 1 second that the oligarchs give a damn about working people? Trust me, they don't. Here in the United States, they will soon be going after the healthcare, nutrition, housing, and educational programs that protect the most vulnerable people in our country, all so that Congress can provide huge tax breaks for them and their fellow billionaires. As modern-day kings who believe they have the absolute right to rule, they will sacrifice, without hesitation, the well-being of working people to protect their interests. Further, they will use the enormous media operations they own to deflect attention away from the impact of their policies while they entertain us to death. Mr. Musk owns Twitter. Mr. Zuckerberg owns Meta, which includes Facebook and Instagram, and Mr. Bezos owns the Washington Post and Twitch. Further, they and their fellow oligarchs will continue to spend huge amounts of money to buy politicians in both major political parties. Bottom line, the oligarchs, with their enormous resources, are waging a war against the working class of this country, and it is a war that they are intent on winning.
You hear it from the man. We're fighting a class war against the oligarchy. And if you're not aligned with the class interests of the vast majority of Americans and choose to do the bidding of the ruling class instead, you're on the wrong side of history. Hey, I appreciate you watching. Now, if you can, please do become a channel member by going to youtube.com/TYTsports and clicking the join button. If that's too much for you, you can just go to tyt.com/join to become a member. It helps all of us out here at the Young Turks and keeps our network afloat. In addition, you could follow me on my socials on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate the love. Have a great day.